On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, we got a full list of subjects for you, topics for you for the last couple of weeks, pop culture, sports topics, all kinds of stuff. Sorry, it's been a week's hiatus for me. Was in San Diego visiting, doing some stuff out there, getting some good content for y'all, county fairs, comic book shops, a whole bunch of stuff out there. You know, I frequent the San Diego, so I got to get some footage, some word of mouth. Comic-Con is happening in a couple of weeks out there, so I had to touch ground. I keep getting around the areas, but I'm not going this year. But hey, had to get some news, had to touch ground and see what's good, and get some more of content for y'all because the content is never ending. Got plenty of stuff. Got a good feedback on some of the stuff that I posted recently, so we're gonna get some more content out there for y'all. It's never gonna stop, never gonna stop. But hey, we back now. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Hope everybody is back safely, drove safely. If you had a little something during the weekend, hopefully you were able to have some fun, but do it safely. You know what I'm saying? Because some crazy stuff going on out there in the world. Again, R.I.P. Khyree Jackson, Oregon cornerback drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, tragically killed in a car accident, man. Sorry to start off really somber, but R.I.P. that man. Big part of my, well, a lot of people's lives, but watched him a lot last year playing with Oregon before he got drafted this year. He was a Duck, so he'll be forever ingrained in my heart and appreciated. And prayers out to him and his family. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But a whole bunch of NBA stuff happened, free agency, NBA draft. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and we'll get right to it. Some the Rick Ross drama over there in Vancouver, BET Awards, and a whole bunch of cinema corner stuff. Dark Matters finale, the Acolyte, The Boys so far. So a lot of stuff to talk about. Hope you guys are ready. Sorry for the delay, but we back. It's the Best of Bias podcast starring yours truly, Lydell Dinero. Where that theme song at? It's right here. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? We back. We back. It's another week of the Best of Bias podcast. I know you missed us last week, but I gave you guys a couple of promos and a couple of, a little couple of pods to listen to. If you guys missed us a little bit, go check out the one with me and Damo, episode 2. I believe that was 211 in the last podcast where I kind of reviewed some of the stuff that we haven't talked about yet in 212. So go check all that stuff out. But now we current episode 213 is popping. Man, hope everybody had a great weekend. Like I said at the beginning, it's been a couple of weeks, so I hope you guys had a great couple of last weekends, especially this one here, 4th of July weekend. Shout out America one time. Hope you guys were able to enjoy the holiday safely, pop off them fireworks safely, because I'm seeing more and more of those videos of people popping off fireworks and shit going crazy. I know everybody want to have firework wars with their neighbors and shit, get the biggest, baddest fireworks around. So, but a lot of places they're illegal. And a lot of people don't really know how to handle fireworks the best, and they shooting shit into houses. There's a fire over here by my crib. A house didn't know how to do their fireworks, and it's hot as hell outside. So you're popping these fireworks into this brush, and it's gonna catch fire hella fast. So weekend's not necessarily over. So if you're still out there popping off your leftover fireworks, be careful. Still celebrate America the best you can. Hey, shout out American, but just chill. This holiday is very dangerous in a couple of ways. You add explosives with a bunch of alcohol and a couple of days off, and people start acting a little nuts. So hopefully everybody was able to celebrate the great holiday very, 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 very safely. But back to the stuff we got to talk about. You haven't seen you guys in a couple of weeks, and you know what we do here. We talk pop culture from the last couple of weeks. So I got to touch base with y'all real quick, starting with sports as we usually do. What do I got on the docket? I got the NBA draft. NBA draft this year, of course, like I said, leading up to it, there wasn't really much talk about it till like a couple of weeks before. And really much so after the draft order was released. This year is just a bunch of international players and players that played in the G League that were the top prospects. So we didn't really know what to judge them by, or we haven't really seen them play against they didn't really play in college. So the competition that we wanted to see them play against to be able to judge them as number 1, number 2, number 3 picks, it wasn't really this year. It wasn't really a clear-cut number 1 pick. People say it could have been anybody in the top 5. A lot of the players, the big centers, Klingon, was it Klingon? From UConn, he dropped pretty far, like number 5 or 6. We saw Edie, he dropped to Memphis. So a lot of the French guys, I think two French guys went 1 and 2. I forgot the first guy's last name is starts with a Z. Zakachashire? I don't know. I think he played in France, and then he played in G League for a little bit, and then went to Australia to finish out his early career before he got drafted. And the second player, I think his name was Alex Sarr, another tall French guy, kind of like Wembanyama, but Wembanyama light, I would say. He's not really complete as far as his package goes. He's like a tall, kind of 7 foot lanky dude who can, you know, spot up and shoot, but it's kind of a thing, it seems like in France where they're big guys and they're able to, well, then the build that's coming out now, if you forget about Rudy Gobert, if you're looking at Wembanyama, this guy Sarr, the guy that just got drafted #1 to the Hawks. They all can move around and they can shoot. They got a little jumper on them, but a lot of the times they don't really do well with contacts. They can block shots. They're really good defensively, but they're slight, and they don't really do well with contact. Me personally, when I'm looking at a big, I love the shooting aspect that a lot of these guys are coming out with. They can stop and pop, hit the three, pull big men out, and stuff like that. But if you're not able to drive, get to the rim, getting fouls is one thing, but being able to finish, be strong enough to finish through contact and stuff like that, I know you can grow into it because a lot of these French players come out really young, but it's just something that they're missing coming in that I think kind of, I don't know, makes it kind of iffy if they warrant that #1 pick, #2 pick. I'm not saying Wembanyama doesn't, just because his size and his skills and attributes are nuts. I think he's going to be legendary in a way. But these other guys that are coming out hoping to find the second coming of Wembanyama, I don't think they're going to have the same kind of fundamentals. I mean, I get it. They may have been on the same international team, may have been around the same coaches and, stuff coming up. But yeah, some of the stuff Wembanyama does, I don't think you can really teach. These players, I don't think are going to be projects. I don't really think one player in the top 3 to 5 are ready to start day one to put up numbers. You know what I mean? We'll talk a little bit about free agency and how these teams are actually building in the NBA to be competitive now, especially some of the teams that these players are going to. And they're going to be long-time projects. I think some of the situations these teams at the bottom of the draft have been running into is they get prospect happy. They find prospects that are supposed to be the next big thing, and they're just able to just draft them and just kind of use them on the team. If you have a bad year, it's whatever, the player is going to develop, but you end up in the same spot. And those coaches, actually, usually a lot of the times for these bad teams, it's a new coach after the first or second year. So when they're drafting again, they go for the best prospects again in the front of the draft instead of needs. And then you end up with a team like Detroit that's just clumped up with a bunch of big men, a bunch of wing players, a bunch of big guards. I don't remember exactly who they drafted this year. I should have put the draft order down here. But yeah, I just feel like that's the kind of situation they're going to stay in. The team that I think that did really well, they got the San Antonio Spurs. They got Stephon Castle, the point guard from UConn that did win back-to-back titles there. So he has that experience coming in, and who could be that get a bucket guy that could help control the pace with Wembanyama, because you did have a bunch of bigger guys on the Spurs that were getting off. What was his name? Keldon on the Spurs. You have a couple of other guys that are getting buckets, but they're not really orchestrators, point guards that they actually need. They did sign Chris Paul, which is something really good. I think they also got Harrison Barnes. So they are solidifying some pieces around Wembanyama that can make them competitive, but there is still a lot of teams that didn't really do much to make their teams better and just grab prospects because they were there. And Atlanta Hawks were one of those teams. Trying to pull up the draft. It's the NFL draft. Just see if I can find the order. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Oh, his name was Richardshire. Zachary Richer. I'm sorry, I'm not very French, so I don't really know these guys' names off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? It's like this year, it was just weird. This year's players, like I really didn't know nothing about them. I knew my Oregon players, but not much. I know the Lakers were able to get Dalton Connect. This guy coming out of Tennessee, he looked pretty good. He's a bigger guard, not guard. I would say he's like a wing. And also this year they did some weird shit on the draft. Instead of putting forward, or if they're a small forward or a power forward, they put a W. I think they're doing that to specify that the player doesn't want to play power forward, that they're either a big shooting guard or a small forward, so like a wing player that can 3 and D. I guess they're classifying players as that now. I don't know. I don't think it matters as far as making money wise, but let me see. Russell Shepard is supposed to be raw. I think that he went number 3 to the Rockets. He's supposed to be a raw kind of 3 and D guy. Forgot exactly where he went. I think he might have went to Kentucky, but I'm not 100% sure. Sorry guys, I'm not the biggest let's see, the biggest on these prospects or follow that closely, because mostly this draft was really about Bronny James. Am I tripping? Without, because the first pick, nobody knows who that is anyway, except for super draft analysts. We're going to see how good this player is. The Rashashire kid, these French kids, but everybody was kind of focused on what the Lakers would do. New coach in JJ Redick, as everybody knows. We knew Bronny James was in the draft. We knew the Lakers had the number 17 pick, but we didn't, and the number 55 pick, the two first and second round picks in the draft. So we didn't know which team Bronny would actually go to, or if Bronny James would get drafted, or if the Lakers would take him at 17 and reach, or just draft him in general. But as the draft went on, we saw that, yeah, as we got further and further back in the first round, and the teams that were kind of already solidified picked up players, a lot of players that were kind of off the record. There's a lot of players on people's boards that the teams liked, particularly because of their skill set, not necessarily the best known players. Again, unless you're the super college basketball guy and watches every game, follows the tournament so closely that you know every player type shit. And there's those people out there. So shout out to y'all. I ain't trying to hoo-foo that, but yeah, it was a lot of nonsense going on after, I would say, top 15. Because me personally, watching college basketball in the tournament, you would think that Zach Edey was one of the best players in the NBA coming out, or the NCAA, going to be one of the top prospects coming out. But shit, like he didn't even get drafted till like number 17. So I'm like, oh gosh, just waiting for the Nuggets to pick. I know the Nuggets were looking at a player, Day'Ron Holmes from Dayton, from day one. I was watching all the draft preview stuff, and at 28, the Nuggets were mock Day'Ron Holmes. They've wanted to, get Day'Ron Holmes, power forward, backup center for Jokic, can pop out, shoot, really athletic, can dunk, a little bit a more advanced, I would say, Peyton Watson. We'll see. Peyton Watson's pretty good, but he was really young when he came out. But we traded up to number 22 with the Grizzlies to grab Day'Ron Holmes. So it was kind of weird because I think we could have gotten them at 28. Again, it was just players being selected that people had on their personal boards. Maybe Calvin Booth and the Nuggets knew that somebody was going to go up there to get Day'Ron Holmes, and they were nervous about that. So they moved up a couple of spots to get him. But it's a weird tactic, because if you promote that you wanted him all season or all draft process, Day'Ron Holmes even went up to the podium and said he only worked out for a couple of teams because the Nuggets actually promised that they'll draft him type shit. And I was like, oh, well, that's inherited. Maybe he's just talking shit. Maybe he's just trying to talk his way into getting selected by the Nuggets, because why wouldn't you want to play there type shit? But as you can see, we traded up to number 22 to grab him. He might have still been there at 28. But yeah, it was just weird. Again, like a lot of the Oregon players that I thought would get drafted higher didn't get drafted, may not even got drafted at all. Kuznard from Nuggets, or excuse me, from Oregon this year, played incredible in the tournament. I would think that he would be considered for the first round at least. I don't think he was drafted in the first round. And then in Folly Dante, I don't know what happened. Maybe because of his injury history, they didn't want to draft him. But it's crazy because his appeal, maybe he's still trying to play in college because he appealed, because he only played really like 2 years due to a lot of the injuries he sustained over there at Oregon. But they denied his 6 year of eligibility. So they are appealing it now. Maybe that's why he didn't enter the draft. Maybe I don't know. But I think he'll be able to help with a team. He played a lot of basketball. Again, he has some wear and tear on his body, but I feel like you can play him in the G League for a little bit, just see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But anyways, back to the Brownie point. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I forgot I didn't talk about the Nuggets really. But Day'Ron Holmes, watch out for him in Summer League. Summer League started right now, but the Nuggets haven't played yet. But Bronny James, man, we were holding out, waiting to see what would happen in the second round because you eventually did have to get to 55. But then the next day, because they did the draft on a Thursday and a Friday, if y'all remember, we were getting calls and not we were getting calls, but we were getting notations and updates and notifications that Rich Paul was reaching out to teams, telling them not to take Bronny James because the Lakers were going to take him for sure. And if they did select him, Bronny James wouldn't play. He would just go to Australia and play the year there and then come back and try to get drafted by another team or something like that, like some bullshit like that. But man, in reality, I think that story was just planted because nobody really was going to draft Bronny James anyways. I mean, maybe rival teams to kind of spite the Lakers or people that didn't really like LeBron James would try to sign him just to be able to like hold him hostage per se to get trades or something out of the Lakers. But yeah, Rich Paul was doing his due diligence, and it was just a matter of time before Bronny would get drafted by Lakers, which I think personally was smart on the Lakers' part and Rich Paul too, because it did keep the viewership of the draft up. Because I'm pretty sure if Bronny James didn't get drafted in the second round, nobody will be watching it. Because again, this year there wasn't enough names to keep interest in the first round, so the second round was going to be a real toughie if you didn't have LeBron James Jr. still sitting there waiting to get drafted. So, shouts out to him. There's a lot of controversy coming out of that. To speak of nepotism and how Bronny James only got drafted because his dad is LeBron James and he only averaged 4 points in his 1 year at USC. Blah 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 blah. I feel it. I do feel it, but again, I do agree with the side of the people out there that are saying nepotism's everywhere. They do. Uh, it is kind of weird how they do have it in like they do have it in smaller business because I feel like in business places where I work, people work that aren't in the NBA type shit and that aren't upper level management type shit too for other businesses. It's like if you show nepotism, if your mom or somebody's the manager, they're not gonna be able to hire you to work under them because you're their son, and that could bring unfair advantages to you than everybody else. I get it in that sense, and it's understandable in that sense. But when it comes to power positions, you have people in power. I feel like that shit goes out of the window, and everybody kind of knows that. You know, the executive of the board. Do you think it's crazy to have that person's son to be a supervisor somewhere else? I think it's unfair. Maybe the person didn't deserve it necessarily. Maybe he was only a co-manager at a McDonald's or something for 3 months before they put him up to the the executive supervisor of this one company, but the dad's the owner of the company, so he could do whatever he wants type shit. I mean, that has been around forever. I do see that, but I don't necessarily think it's right. You know what I'm saying? In the case of LeBron James, I think he's earned the clout enough to, and he's done enough for the Lakers and the Lakers team. They have a you know, understanding with LeBron James that they're gonna help him and do whatever he wants. You scratch my back and I scratch your back type thing. We're bringing all this notoriety. Not saying the Lakers actually need it, but they are bringing a lot of notoriety to the Lakers by having a father-son duo on the team. LeBron staying brought him a championship, though people may have put it in asterisks for it being 2020 in the bubble, but he brought that championship there. He's keeping eyes and the Lakers relevant by staying there. He can go to any team and make them playoff contenders and possibly win the final. So for the fact that he's staying there and just keeping the Lakers on the map, though it may be on extreme terms sometimes, this year he opted out and kind of didn't want to sign back until he knew what was going to happen in free agency and the drafting of his son. And I understand that when you have leverage, you might as well use it. And at the end of the day, it's like if he believes that Bronny James could help him, or not help him personally, but help the Lakers in some way, shape, or form, he can directly make that promise. Like it's his son. It's not like it's another player. He can go home and train with LeBron all he wants. Everything LeBron can do off the court, Bronny could do. The habits, the workouts, the drills. Though the skill may not be in Bronny just like it was in LeBron at 18 or whatever year he came into the NBA. I think it could be coached into him. At least he has some skill in basketball. Just as long as he can shoot the ball, get rebounds, pass the ball, compete physically. His body's going to be in shape. Training with LeBron, that $1 million he uses to keep track of his body. Hey, he's a billionaire. Throw another million into Bronny James, and he's gonna come out as a specimen. Just give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? Give him a chance to get better. He's in the system. He's in the NBA, and as he gets better, I'm sure people are gonna notice he's playing right now his first Summer League game was yesterday. He only scored 4 points in like 21 minutes, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. But you know what I'm saying? He's going to grow. It's his first game. And again, essentially, if people are saying he is not as skilled as they think he is, and him going out and putting up the same average as he did in college, there's only up from there. You know what I'm saying? If he would have stayed in college and got better, that would have wasted his time, basically. Why not get better while in the NBA? So when you're in, you don't have to worry about getting drafted again. You're already making money. The motivation is there. You can work out with your dad all the time in the facilities, get to know everybody. I think it's cool. It's cool. I personally, I don't know who in the second round is worthy to be taken at 55. Maybe the Lakers felt like they had everybody on the roster that was going to play. And again, you draft LeBron James Jr. I'm always spitty. When you draft Bronny Jr., you have a player that you can get a promise for LeBron James. We gonna train and get him better. You draft a second round prospect from anywhere else, you don't know what the work habits are gonna be. You can't control the work habits. You can't, you know what I'm saying? If it's a person that's a buster, that's gonna be a bust. You can get this guarantee from LeBron that hey, he's not gonna be a bust. Though he's not good right now, we're gonna mold him in the next couple of years into the image that I want him to be. And he's gonna get down with it because he knows personally, I am the one that did this. We had a plan, work out, be cool. That cardiac arrest may have set him back. He's like, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get you back right. We're going to get you back on this trajectory. Ain't nothing's going to change because I got control of this shit. And I personally think it's just another way of people to try to hate on LeBron, but I think it's cool. The Ball brothers did it. Everybody hated on, what's Pop's name? LeVar Ball. But it just so happens, well, LaMelo got the super contract and is doing well. Lonzo is coming back from the injuries. And Jello is, I don't know what he's doing, having kids with somebody famous. But hey, he talked it into fruition. Who else was it that was in the example? But LeBron, yeah, I think LeBron's gonna be cool with what he's doing, man. It's just gonna take a little time for Bronny to get there. But that's not the focus of this year. The focus of this year for him is to try to win a championship and put pieces together. That's what we'll get into free agency because a lot of teams are making these pushes to get better. This free agency was crazy. I think it was a lot better than last year's free agency, but we saw last year with the Celtics winning it all. Very cohesive roster that has been together. I wouldn't say has to be together for a long time, but just are able to contribute equally. The days of having big threes to where one, two, three players are really good that could take a team over the top is over. We need a full five that can contribute in their ways and a bench that can solidify and give the starters rest. You know what I mean? When you look at the Celtics again, you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, but then when they don't have it, or we need some other thing, like okay, they do have it, but we need somebody to play defense to supplement with this other player's offense. That's when you get to see what the really other players are made of. Like they read it up on everybody on the team, though they're only together 1 year this year. They are able to they were able to mesh throughout the season. Again, they were 12 games in front of the second seed in the East. You know you're going to pay Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They both had record-setting deals when they did get paid. I think Jaylen Brown got paid like, shoot, I forgot exactly what it was, but I know Jason Tatum just got paid a little bit higher than that, getting like 60 million a year for I think it's 5 years, 5 years, 60 mil, like 300 and something $1 million. Porzingis, when he got traded there, I think they extended him, they extended Jared White, and they extended Drew Holiday. So their cap total is at $939 million. Definitely over the second tier of the luxury cap, which is kind of hamstrung a lot of teams in this, not only this free agency, but it's like this for next years to come and the years after that, because if a team goes into that second tier of the tax franchise luxury tax, I think they get fined or something like that, or something like that, or they have a exorbitant amount of dead cap money they have to spend. So the days of being able to pay like 3 players the max, 4 players the max, and you can't do that either. So you got to spread out that talent and make sure each player contributes in their own way. You may have 2 scorers, but you had better have 2 players that can play defense, or 2 players that can shoot the 3, 2 players that can do other things that are hustle guys, players off the bench that can supplement the starters and can get you 10 to 12 points. You know what I mean? And that's also what the Celtics did. Not only did they keep a starting 5 that are paid $939 million, you still keep the Xavier Tillmans of the world. You still keep the Al Horfords of the world. It's just a lot of players that you're able. Peyton Pritchard, of course, that are able to be rotational players and give these top 5 players a break. So you don't have to play them all season. Porzingis is hurt. You can give him a break by throwing in. Do they have Daniel Tice on the team? No, I forgot their other guy's name, the big that can just shoot. They have a bunch of players that could be supplemental to their starting unit and that can keep them afloat in the East. But you know what I mean? There's been a lot of stuff going on as far as free agency goes, because they saw the Celtics win that way. So this is the copycat league. All the teams, not only in the East, got to catch up some of the teams in the West. So let me go over some stuff in free agency real quick before I talk about how the Nuggets didn't do nothing yet. But first, I talk about the Celtics, but the Clippers, man. The Clippers lose Paul George. This is probably like one of the biggest ones discussed over the offseason, right after the season ended. We saw during the finals, I think there was some talking with Embiid and the inside the NBA crew with Paul George was there. He was hinting that Paul George may be coming to the 76ers, or there may be hints of them talking. We heard all the rumors. Paul George was interested in going to the Sixers to join Maxey and Embiid, but we didn't understand how it would happen, what trade haul it would take, or if the Clippers were even willing to do that. But we knew that the Clippers paid Kawhi Leonard, but didn't pay Paul George, and weren't willing to pay him what he wanted to pay. Or maybe they were willing to pay him, but I think Paul George wanted more money, and they weren't willing to give that there. So the sweepstakes for Paul George was pretty heavy. Every time somebody's available, they always say, "Oh, Lakers this, Lakers that." But we did hear that he was going to try to go to the Warriors. We did hear the Sixers were up for consideration as well. But he was one of the first dominoes to drop in free agency, getting trade. Actually, I don't think he got traded to Philly. He actually just signed there in free agency. Paul George went to Philly. So that means Clippers are going to pay Harden to stay. It's going to be Harden and Kawhi. I think PJ Tucker's gone. Russell Westbrook is rumored to be bought out. So the Clippers are pretty much starting over, which I didn't think that was going to happen with them getting a new stadium, or excuse me, an arena that was coming out real soon. But it's really interesting. Paul George going to Philly to join Embiid and Maxey. That is scary. You know, if Embiid is able to stay healthy in the playoffs, it can be a little different, because again, all 3 of those players, they do kind of have a big 3 there. Maxey is up and coming, so he's not really solidified as a big 3, but he did get paid recently. But ball handling for Maxey, being that wing player Paul George is, and that can D up, and then Embiid being the center that can get buckets and D up as well. They keep Kelly Oubre. I don't know if they signed Kyle Lowry back, but you know what I'm saying? They still got a little squad there, and it's going to be interesting. The East Coast, Eastern Conference really did need some competition for the Celtics, and they stepped up in a big way. New York Knicks stepped up in a big way. They're able to acquire Mikal Bridges to add to the Villanova boys that they do have over there on the Knicks. DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and now Mikal Bridges all have gone, all went to Villanova, and now all are playing together again out here with the Knicks. The Villanova Knicks are in full effect, and they're able to keep OG Anunoby, signed him back. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with Randall, but they do have Mitchell Robinson still. But if they keep Randall, sign him back, and everything is good, because Randall was cooking before he did get hurt last year. So I do feel like if he was able to be on the court, yeah, that 5 will be kind of crazy. I know Josh Hart probably wouldn't start. DiVincenzo probably wouldn't start. So I think you would have, maybe Josh Hart would start over DiVincenzo though. So maybe you would have Brunson at the 1, Hart at the 2, then you got OG Anunoby at the 3, then you get because DiVincenzo and Hart have to hit the bench. So you got Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and you have Mitchell Robinson, and then you have Hart and DiVincenzo coming off the bench. So that's 7 people already. They lost Isaiah Hartenstein. But man, seven deep. They already go seven deep. That can give you minutes and buckets with Coach Thibodeau. It's gonna be cool over there. What else we got in free agency that was kind of shocking? But what did they trade for Bridges? A whole bunch of picks. I know that. It was a whole bunch of picks, but I don't know if they got any players. I think they traded McBride. Who else? I don't think it was anybody super big though. That's why it was crazy. It was just mostly draft pick compensated. Another one, Buddy Hield going to the Warriors. This one was it a trade as well? I think it was free agency. He was looking between, I think it was Lakers, Warriors. I don't believe that he was looking at the Nuggets because he said he was looking at a team to go to that was a contender for a championship. And if he was really choosing between those three teams, Nuggets would have definitely been the choice if it was really like that. But I think he's just talking shit. It was between the Lakers and the Warriors, and he felt like the Warriors gave him a better chance to win. That puts him on a roster with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga, and Pajinski, or would they start one of their centers, Trace Jackson Davis, whatever the guy's name is. But that also brings us to one of the other bigger trades or bigger free agency acquisitions in the whole free agency process. We had Clay leaving the Warriors and going to the Mavericks, which was another stunner because we would think that the Warriors would try to retain Clay. I know there was some bad blood with the team as far as his playing time, how much money they wanted to give him. You know what I'm saying? Kuminga was complaining about minutes. He's the younger guy. They were giving him minutes. You know what I'm saying? So there was a little bad blood there, but we would think since the history they had, 4 championships, him being taken out of Washington State and just proven to be a sniper, one of the best shooters in the world in the NBA. After the injuries, his play kind of slowed down. It took him a little while to get back to what he was, but he had a couple of games this past season I think will warn him at least the rest of his career in Golden State. Just give him what he wants, take care of him. You know what I'm saying? But it's Steph Curry's splash, brother. But I guess it didn't work out. They offered him, I guess it was 4 years, 80 mil, or what was it? What was the deal? I think they offered him $80 million to go to the Lakers, or was it Warriors? I don't know. Either way, he turned down the deal to go back to the Warriors. The Lakers offered him. He didn't want that. So he ended up at the Texas or Dallas. Some say it was due to taxes. You know what I'm saying? You offer somebody 80 million for 4 opposed to 50 million for, I think it was 2 or 3. You were getting offered more money, but you're in California and state income tax will cut your shit directly in half. And then in Texas, they don't got that. And you got Luka and Khyree in Dallas, which would be definitely cool driving kick guys to him. He can stand in the corner and just bust. He don't need much time with the ball in his hands. He can just, shoot the ball and be accurate from that. And with Luka and Khyree, I feel like he doesn't have to be expected to be be great with the ball in his hands, especially a lot of the times that you'll have Luka bringing the ball up, Kyrie bringing the ball up, and just finding him when he's in the spot. Just give him a screen and he can bust. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of they're missing. They still got PJ Washington. They still got Gafford. They still got Derek Lively. You got the big guys that handle the inside, but the shooting was off. Tim Hardaway Jr. wasn't able to provide anything. They didn't have that shooting threat that Tim Hardaway Jr. used to be, and I think this is just a swooped up version of that. He could go off the dribble, kind of get his own spots in the mid range type shit. But Clay, with all the driving and penetrating that Kyrie and Luka do, for him just to be able to move, replace, spot up for the Mavericks is going to be great. We'll see. Me personally, I think that it's still puts them at the same level as they were last year. Western Conference Finals contenders, but if they come up against, well, we'll have to see first and foremost while I speak it. But I feel like the team they would still have the same result, not getting gentlemen swept against Minnesota, but I feel like it would still be kind of close. It wouldn't just tip the scales in the Mavericks' favor so much to think that they would just whoop the Timberwolves or the Nuggets in that sense if it was last year with Klay Thompson, Klay Thompson has to actually have a prove-it year this year to show everybody that he can still play, and everybody that did doubt him, whether it be the Lakers or the Warriors, not offering more money, Warriors especially just wanting to move on without kind of helping him out. He's going to try to show them that he's ready to play and can still ball and try to bring a ring over there to Dallas. You know what I mean? Who else? Who else? What else did I got on the list here? Nobody exactly. The Nuggets, I guess I can talk about a little what's happening and what was going to happen or supposed to happen. The Nuggets, haven't made any moves. Calvin Booth did the same thing last year. It kind of almost worked out, but we saw towards the end of the year, a lot of our starters did get tired towards the end of the series, long games. Injuries came about, and we didn't have people to back them up. Reggie Jackson didn't really ball out. Christian Brown wasn't really ready to take that next step as far as shooting to be a viable scoring option off the bench. Peyton Watson still growing, no backup center in sight. We played against Minnesota and we tried to use Jokic majority of the game with no center backup. Zeke Naji has been no revelation. We tried to use Peyton Watson. He didn't even get any play time in the Minnesota series. DeAndre Jordan doesn't play, though we did sign him back, which is kind of interesting. This year drafting again, Day'Ron Holmes, I feel like we are able to he's 6'11", a legit 6'11", so he's able to replace Jokic when he's out. He can pass a little bit, he can shoot a little bit. Him and Peyton Watson should be cool with each other, playing off the ball, and especially if the rumor is true of us getting Russell Westbrook, just waiting for the buyout from the Clippers. He can provide that spark and ball handling off the bench, that offensive power. If he's staggered with Jamal Murray, he can be the ball handler. Jamal Murray can shoot that thing. We can have Julian Strawther get back involved. We did sign Dario Saric, and he's a backup big, legit, almost 7-footer that can shoot a legit shot. So if he's in with Peyton Watson or Day'Ron Holmes, it wouldn't be redundant. You know what I mean? They wouldn't clog up the lane. We wouldn't need Sarge to get his back to the basket and have to create his own bucket. He's a shooter. And he can shoot from mid-range. He can shoot from outside, pull the centers out of the paint so that Watson, Day'Ron Holmes can do their thing. If Jamal Murray wants to drive, Westbrook wants to drive and dunk on somebody, they can do that. But we also have the option to kick it back to Strawther for a three, Sarge for a three, Jamal for a three. Like, to have shooters on that second unit and to have defenders and versatile bigs is all we need. And hopefully, our starting unit is still has confidence and able to do what they can do. What the heck is that out there, boy? Oh yeah, for real. They tripping next door. Yeah, for them to be able to do what they can do and just go out there and just play defense will be great. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting to see what's actually going to happen with them. Summer League starts really soon. We got a bunch of young guys on our second unit. Sorry about these gardeners out here. I don't know why they decided to do this shit now. That's kind of pissing me off. But at the same time, we got to get through it. You know what I'm saying? We deal with what's put in front of us. But these motherfuckers next door, if I hear my wrath though. Anyways, my bad, y'all. But yeah, NBA should be cool next season. But we do got Olympic basketball now. So all the shit that's happening in free agency and all the shit that's to come, it's interesting, you know what I'm saying? But we still got to wait and see until about October to see what these teams look like put together. But right now we have Olympic basketball, a lot of the qualifying coming up. So we see a lot of teams repping their countries. We talked about our roster a little bit ago. We talked about the women's roster a little bit ago, but a lot of these other rosters are what's crazy. Just seeing the Canada roster, just seeing Serbia's roster, seeing France's roster, seeing Spain's roster, just a number of NBA people or players that used to be in the NBA, kind of big players, Australia's roster, and teams like, Greece and Slovenia. A lot of these teams are in the play-in to try to get into the Olympics, while these stacked teams that I mentioned before, Canada with Jamal Murray, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Andrew Wiggins, Dylan Brooks, Nikhil Walker, you got Zach Edey, like a whole bunch of people on the Canadian team. And then Serbia, of course, you got Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic. You got I knew there's another couple of people on the squad that are pretty raw that's in the NBA right now. Australia, Patty Mills, Giddey. But me personally, I think the only people that can kind of mess with the American team are going to be Canada and Serbia, just because Serbia one has Jokic and some bigs that are crazy. America, that's the only thing I would say America's really lacking. They have Embiid, but he's not fully healthy. He probably shouldn't be playing anyways. But they have Embiid and Bam Adebayo, are they're only really big, the real bigs. They have KD, Kevin Durant. Oh, they have AD as well. So I guess that'll suffice. But Jokic is out there. It's pretty much France, you're gonna have to play with Wembanyama. I don't know if Rudy Gobert is actually playing, but Wemby's there with a whole bunch of other the big French guys. Canada, I don't know who their big is. I know they have Olenek. They may have Olenek over there. I don't know if he's playing in the Olympics this year. But it's gonna be some good competition, man. The practices and the qualifying games have started. I think Slovenia and Luka Doncic have been eliminated. They got eliminated by Greece and Giannis and them. The Bahamas team, we got Aiton, Buddy Hield. I think Klay Thompson actually backed out. Eric Gordon's on the Bahamas team. So you got some squads out there. I mean, I guess maybe I never really paid attention to how many NBA representatives we had that were in the Olympics, but I think now it's just a influx of international players that actually their countries are represented in the Olympics. So I think it's going to be really interesting. But for the fact that these France games, the times are going to probably be crazy ass early in the morning. But our Olympic team usually gets it done guard wise. We have a crazy lineup. We got Ant-Man out there, Steph's out there, Drew Holiday, Halliburton. There's a lot of talent, a lot of influx, young talent, older talent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see what America does, but it's going to be a competition, man. The tournament has already started, the qualifying tournaments, but man, all the Olympic stuff I'm excited to see. Our track is out here, the qualifiers for the track are going crazy, gymnastics going crazy, swimming going crazy. So I'm excited to see how we compete this year. I don't know exactly when I know it's this summer for sure, and it's coming up probably within the next couple of weeks. I think the end of July is when the basketball games actually start. So I'm assuming that the full the Olympic, what did you call it, a tournament? Olympic events would start very soon. So shout out to everybody that's prepared all year for these events, man. Shout out to y'all for y'all preparation. I cannot wait to see what y'all put up and see how y'all represent the country and offer all the players that are in other countries. Shout out to y'all too, but y'all probably gonna lose to America. Jamal, Jokic, I'll support y'all, but y'all probably gonna use to the good old USA. But you know how I'm rocking all day. Nuggets, baby, I'm supporting y'all though. What else we got? Okay, Oregon, man. Whoo, whoo, whoo. First off, again, before I get any further with Oregon, I'm gonna start off a little sad. I'm sorry because it touched me last night. Actually, not last night. That was weird to say it touched me last night, but yesterday morning, tragic news. Cornerback Khyree Jackson. He was tragically killed in a car accident. Him and I think two other of his friends, a drunk driver ran into their car, I think knocked them off the road, killing them three. But the people that were drunk in the car were unharmed in the accident, but they tragically killed one of the nicest, most genuine people you would ever meet. Me personally, I don't know him, but a lot of the tribute videos, a lot of the information I'm finding out about him now, because he was a one-year player at the Ducks, last year, transferred for Alabama and played with us for his last year before he got drafted. But when he did play for us, he ingratiated well, became a leader right away, had the Alabama background and discipline. So he was able to go out there and be a contributor right away. Big plays in the biggest games, interceptions against Washington. Big time player. He was drafted this year to the Vikings. I think second or third round. Great player, great size, great potential, man. His work ethic was second to none. In the videos, tribute videos, you hear him say he went to a JUCO maybe for a couple of years before he was actually able to go to Alabama. And just talking about how much he worked, it's like for him to get to Oregon and his senior year, go to there and be able to start probably over there in Alabama. There's so many players, so many recruits, you can get lost in the system. But coming to Oregon is probably a breath of fresh air. He got to show his talent. Dan Lanning gave him an opportunity, and he made the best of it. Every game he went out there. We only lost 2 games last year. It was to the same team by 3 points in both games. So every game he went out there and played, shut down their best corner or best receiver, made plays. For some reason, I don't know, draft prospects didn't really see what I saw each week or give him any credit for how much he locked down the opposite team's receivers. But yeah, he was drafted to the Vikings, and I don't know if it was out there in Minnesota or he was home for the holiday, but he was tragically taken from us all. He wasn't able to show the world his talents as far as the NFL goes, but he showed us enough over here in Oregon through the screen, that he was more than capable to make a big impact. He made a big impact on all of our lives. And it's sad, man. Him and Spencer Webb, I think it might have been the last couple of years, the team has dealt with the loss of a former player. So it's tough times out there in Eugene. Prayers out to the family. Prayers out to everybody, all the Ducks fans, but mostly the family. And shouts out to Khyree Jackson up there, you know what I'm saying, in football heaven, in heaven right now, looking down on us. Bro, it was tough. It was tough. Again, shouts out to Ducks Nation. Shouts out to the families, and shouts out Khyree. All right, all right. And just sorry to start like that, but moving on, the Ducks, man, they've been doing great in recruiting. We killed it this year as far as recruiting goes. Last year we got a couple of 4 or 5 star D linemen. It carried on this year with a whole bunch of people in the transfer portal, DBs, D linemen, running backs. Like, we got a whole bunch of people in the transfer portal that actually wanted to come to Eugene and show what they had and show that NFL, well, Oregon, Nike, Phil Knight, what they can provide to the student athlete to help them get to the next level, and just let them know that Oregon's about to be back to where it used to be as far as putting out top-notch recruits and being recognized as one of the top schools in the country. And with that being said, the 2025 class has been outstanding, yo. Like, the type of recruits that we're getting, beating out schools that we're beating. I mean, this is only Dan Lanning's 3rd year here. When he first got to our school, Mario Cristobal started it off to where we were getting top-notch recruits and people were coming in that we haven't seen before. But as he left and people started leaving with him, everybody thought we were going to take a step back. And Dan Lanning coming over, being a defensive coordinator from Georgia, being known as a good recruiter, wasn't going to be able to come over there and do what Mario was doing. He did better. Brought in recruits from the SEC, from places like Texas, Florida, linemen that we were never able to get before. I mean, we just started getting them with Mario Cristobal, but we thought, okay, Mario's gone. All these linemen are going to go with no. We started getting top-notch recruits, top-notch transfers that wanted to put on that yellow and green, you feel me, represent the Ducks. This year alone, we got it is the highest star recruit we ever got. DeCorian Moore, number 1 receiver out in the 2025 class, number 1 receiver in the country. He's a 5-star plus. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times when we get 5 stars, they like to drop them down to 4 stars to make it seem like we ain't doing shit. How you gonna drop a 5-star plus down to a 4-star? You got plus stars. You can't do that. DeCorian Moore, baby. We got him, number 1 receiver in the 2025 class. Then we got a 5-star cornerback, Dorian Brew, number 4 quarterback in the nation. Got him. Then we got Deshaun Brame, number 3 tight in the nation, 4-star. Then we got Jordan Davis, number 5 running back in the nation, 5-star. And then we got Joshua Sharma, number 7 D-lineman in the country. That's a 4-star. Still to come, we got DJ Pickett, one of the top DBs in the country that is leaning towards Oregon right now, 5-star. And then we have one more player that's a 5-star we're in contention for too. But how DeCorian Moore announced, how our transfer portal was looking this year, how we were able to have a backup quarterback at Dante Moore coming back. We have Jerrion Dickey still in the tuck. DeCorian Moore coming out next year, still in the tuck. This year we still have Evan Stewart. We got Tez. We still got a whole bunch of players that are just ready to go. Running back room is still fire with Jordan James. Our quarterback pipeline, we got Gabe. What's his name? Dylan Gabriel starting for his senior year. Then we have Dante Moore getting some reps coming in. He's going to be a redshirt junior probably. And then we have next Achilles Smith, who is also a 4-star coming in that we just got in the 2025 cycle as well. So we have 3 quarterbacks in the pipeline, whole bunch of receivers, whole bunch of running backs, a defensive line starring the younger Ugalele, you feel me, Mateo Ugalele. Yeah, it's looking crazy, bro. We have a stacked team and we're ready to do work. Everybody hating on Dan Lanning. Everybody hating, thinking that we're gonna go into the Big Ten and be stepping stones, or gonna lose to Ohio State, lose to Michigan, lose to anybody. They crazy as hell because last year, I'm telling you, we should have been in that 4-team in a college football playoff, but we lost to Washington twice by 3 points. If we would have won that second time, we would have been in the championship. We wouldn't have lost the way that Washington lost. I'll tell you that. But this year, I'm ready to hoist our first ever national championship and just continue it, man. Put draft picks out, continue to get the best prospects of the nation, and just keep putting on for Oregon. I may not have gone there. I did go to Chico State and San Jose State, but hey, do we have football teams? San Jose State did. Hey, but I'm an Oregon fan now, boy. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I represent the alumni school, but once I transferred out of there and went to Chico State, it's like I'm up north with no football team. I still respect and I follow San Jose State still a little bit, but I've been an Oregon fan. You guys already know for a long, 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 long time. And this change up, to me personally, if you know my teams that I like, a lot of them have been winning their first and second championships, and I've been alive to witness it. I've been alive to report on it, and I'm just excited to see the transition and shit that's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's go Ducks. You feel me? But moving on. I'm sorry, that was a lot. That was really, really sports heavy. Really, 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 really sports heavy. But let's get into some pop culture. Let's talk a little bit about the BET Awards. I didn't really see the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying? The promotion again was really weird. Though BET, I think it was on multiple channels. I'm sure it was on VH1. I'm sure it was on BET, if not Comedy Central type shit. But maybe it's because I don't watch commercials as much as I used to, or watch actual cable TV to be able to see the plugs and the commercials for the BET Awards. But I just know I find out about the BET Awards through social media because I think it's recorded before they actually show it on live TV or something like that. So Instagram shows all the stars and stuff on the red carpet and actually at the event. And then after the fact, you see it come out on video. So, or come out on live cable. So that's how I always kind of know that the BET Awards is actually coming, because hey, you've seen that the people and the stars have gone to it recently. So it has to be airing soon type shit. But sometimes I watch it and kind of just get disappointed because it's been years. It used to be family viewing for me. BET Awards, Sundays, I would just go check out the BET Awards with the family, go through the whole 4 hour show and just sit there till it's over and go to bed, get ready for school the next day type shit. Now it's just like, I don't know. It just, all the categories seem kind of weird. It doesn't really seem to matter to a lot of people. What they show on stage, the artists that they show on stage, it's like the older OGs that do show up don't really rock with it. So it's kind of an interesting mix. It's a lot of the newer acts that a lot of people know, but not the OGs that show up know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And me from the outside looking in, I didn't watch this year's BET Awards, so I'm gonna kind of speed through this. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but what I'm hearing from the outside looking in, that it was super political, supporting the left side and the Democrats a lot, kind of pushing an agenda that people didn't really like that was being taken away from the show. People are saying there weren't many men performers. Taraji P. Henson did host the show, but they did notice that it was really women heavy as far as the performers, and even down to the Usher tribute. There was an Usher tribute where the only guy performer was Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, but I heard that he only performed because Normani didn't make it, and it was kind of a last minute decision. Other than that, it would have been all women. I think Coco Jones, Keke Palmer, um, they all did sets in the tribute to Usher. And then during Usher's set, I guess his speech got cut off during the live taping of it. So people weren't able to see his full speech, though he was saying some deep kind of introspective shit. I think he was cussing too much for the airwaves. I think every other word was a curse word, so they kind of just had to end it and not air the full thing. But it did kind of sit the wrong way for a couple people, because you saw how the Grammys did that to Killer Mike, and during his acceptance speech, they didn't air it. So people thought that this was kind of another slight for Usher and the BET Awards and Black people in general, with Usher getting the Lifetime Achievement Award and them cutting it off and shit was low-key disrespectful to him. But again, I did hear that people were saying that he was saying all kinds of cuss words and shit on stage, where after a while, the live airways are like, okay, we can't just blank out every other word, so we're just going to cut this. So that happened. Best New Artist, Tyler won over Sexy Red. And people are really indifferent about Sexy Red because it's either you love her or you hate her. Me personally, I don't really like the message or what she kind of portrays, but then I would seem hypocritical because a lot of the rap that I listen to kind of promotes violence and drugs and weird shit as well. So who am I to say that she can't express herself that way and kind of like put out her own music and do whatever she wants in her own lane type shit? But I mean, she can. And I'm not against her doing it. It's just not for me. And the influence that she has over the culture is kind of crazy. Back in the days when I was coming up, people like that didn't really get a lot of notoriety and didn't really like make it in the game. But I guess nowadays that's what the industry wants, and that's what the people are presenting and putting forth. And the numbers do kind of lie because I guess her first week she only put out 29,000 units, but she's on every award show. She's on Instagram with every artist from country to some weird shit, just kind of like just presenting Black culture in the spaces that they haven't really been before, but in the most ratchet way, and everybody's just super accepting of it. When if it was average Black person doing the stuff that she was doing, they would want no parts of it. But it seems like if it gives them a little buzz as far as being accepted by other subcultures that spit again, that's weird. That they're okay with it, but it's weird, man. Again, I'm all with a Black woman getting her money and doing what she can to support herself and her family. But it's like, fuck, man. At a certain point, I feel like people should notice that it's kind of getting old. She ain't really doing shit, man. I don't think she's writing the raps. The songs that she does write, the raps that she does write, she kind of like the Beala, you she sings off key on purpose for the song, in the song, when she performs it. Her breath control isn't really the best, though. It's these little intricacies of rapping and stuff that I've experienced before doing low key stages, but nothing, ever in front of the amount of people that she's get thrown into. Personally, I do look up to her for being able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can obviously tell she hasn't been doing it for a long time, but for her to be confident enough to get up on stage in front of thousands, if not millions of people watching it on TV as well, I commend that. Hey, everybody can do that. I couldn't do that right away, just jump off this chair and just sit in front of millions of people and do that shit. So I commend her for that, but it's just kind of weird because I think it's just kind of a slap in the face to a lot of artists that put years and years into the craft, that try a lot harder and are a lot more, I wouldn't say classy because I don't think that's fair, but just do it the right way. But she can just come out and just do whatever she wants. The words don't have to rhyme. She can just rap anything she wants. It could be off key. It could be the most ratchet shit. She doesn't have to, respect herself at all, really. And she gets paid millions of dollars for it. I don't think that really puts forth a great example necessarily, because I don't think that'll work for everybody. I think necessarily we should talk about why, or people should present why this is working for her before everybody, little girl, every woman out there and try to be the next Sexy Red goes out there and tries to do it and fails. It's like, I think we need the truth behind it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we get it. Drake backs her. That can make her kind of popular. But at this point, it doesn't really stamp her as official, as a person that's a great artist just because Drake backs her. You know what I mean? But let me not get off on a tangent like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But the BET Awards was fairly interesting, I heard. Again, Taraji P. Henson, she did come out there and perform. She opened up to a performance of They Not Like Us. And she changed a lot of the lyrics to kind of present her side of it, how she's not getting paid enough as an actress. She made even drop some bars at Oprah, you know what I mean? But again, I think it's kind of corny that they use Not Like Us. I think they do need to respect the song in a way, but I don't think they need to bury it into the ground like they did the Hawk Tuah girl. You know what I mean? Like the Hawk Tuah girl, she was funny when she first came out. Now she's everywhere, and I think that now they are kind of killing the joke, and the funniness of it is kind of being worn out by the overuse of it. And I don't think Not Like Us it's not gonna happen like that, because I'm sure they're gonna drop a remix and shit like that. We just seen the video being dropped. I was gonna get into that next, but with that coming out and on 4th of July, the Not Like Us video, and just the success of the song, I think we just need to let it rock. Her doing it was interesting. It was interesting, but she came out and just, yeah, with the whole outfit that Kendrick Lamar had came in and just started rapping the song and just doing her own version of it, of course, to kind of fit the BET Awards because they can't sit there and rap about pedophilia and shit on TV. But yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people it's mostly Drake stans though, saying that the song is getting old, they're getting tired of the song type shit. But they never said that when they heard One Dance on the radio 17 million times for 16 years. If it's a good song, it's gonna be a good song. If people like the song, the radios are gonna keep playing it. More and more versions are gonna get dropped. The video just dropped, like I said, so the impact isn't gonna stop. People out there saying that they are getting tired of the song, like that's what happens. Songs come out and then they're popular and get played over and over and over. And me personally, I'm not one of the people that do not like the song. I'm just one of the people that are annoyed with. I'm a music lover, man. I'm just annoyed with people denying good music just because of their uh preferences on the artist putting them out. You know what I mean? If there was a person that I didn't like as an artist, I didn't listen to as an artist, and they put out a slap that was a good song, I would say, okay, that's a good song. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be a person that would be like, oh fuck, God, I'm tired of hearing this song. This song is not even good. This artist sucks. Like, nah, bro. There's a reason it gets played on the radio over and over and over. It's a regional song that means more than just a diss to Drake. It's a victory lap for them. It's notoriety for the West Coast. It's just a much more than a diss song. You know what I mean? And I don't think you're gonna stop hearing it anytime soon because once that remix comes out and you have a whole bunch of original verses, and if Kendrick drops another verse on that shit, yeah, it's gonna get played all through the summer, and they're gonna have to sit with it for a while. So very, 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 very interesting. BET Awards again. People are saying that it was agenda based to try to win the Black female demographic, to get out there and vote. Kamala Harris, I think, was there. They showed her a couple of times. There was drama with Keith Lee and Taraji P. Henson. I don't know. The BET Awards, man, I think again just comes up with a bunch of gimmicks to kind of show that it's still there. I mean, personally, I think that they should have a long time ago kind of straightened it out to try to get it to the level of the Billboard Awards, get it to the level of the Grammys, man. I just feel like it's just always been taken as a joke. But you know what I'm saying? I personally like the BET Hip Hop Awards better than the actual BET Awards. It's like every every category has a million artists in it, and it's like, how do you select the artist? Who are the voters? It's like you're putting rap albums, Drake, you're doing all the best rap albums ever, period. And it's like, how are we able to do this? You know, how are we going to be able to select through all these? And then when you select Killer Mike, it's like, again, I respect Killer Mike in his hustle. The album that he put out, his last album, was pretty good. It's just the Grammys did it already. I get it. You wanted to follow suit and just kind of get recognized again, give Killer Mike a chance to maybe come out there. And I think it was in the same building as the Grammys. So come out there and redeem himself, give his speech that was live air type shit. You know, Drake wasn't going to be there. No, you know, a lot of the artists that did win weren't going to be, that were probably had the album that was album of the year, hip hop artist of the year. They weren't going to come. And a lot of them have drama. So I think they went with the safe choice. I know fans didn't like it, but give Killer Mike his notoriety. I personally, he beat Gunna. I know Gunna did perform, so he was there. But I'm sure that I think they put his. It wasn't one of one. It was the last one, The Gift and the Curse, that was up. The album was fire too, but yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy how I didn't have a list of the winners or nothing like that, but yeah. Will Smith performed at the BET Awards. Didn't like the song personally. It sounded like he stole the Eminem Lose Yourself verse. And I guess he sang over Kurt Franklin's choir. Kurt Franklin was out there. So Will Smith tried to make a little comeback. You know what I'm saying? Everybody try to get everybody to forget about the slap after the success of Bad Boys 4. He's coming out here rapping again, performing again, dropping new songs with his daughter and shit. So we'll see. But it was interesting, man. Not really much to say. Again, I didn't see it, but if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. Again, I didn't want to spend too much time because I want to front like I saw it, but it did happen. So I just want to give that notoriety to the BET Awards. Shout out to everybody that won. Shout out to BET for trying, even though I feel like they're selling BET again to somebody else. Just give it to Tyler Perry. I think a lot of that should be straightened out. I don't think we'd see Sexy Red on stage no more, but hey, maybe they'll give us he'll get us right to make it more of a prestige kind of event rather than just a twerk off that it actually seems like it became. Um, yeah, Meg Thee Stallion. Anyways, moving on. Rick Ross in Vancouver. Holy shit! I don't know if you want to clip this one up, Ariel. Put some B-roll of this shit. But over in Vancouver, Rick Ross is kind of one of the key figures in this beef with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's not Kendrick, but somebody that was trying to punch Drake in the ribs while Kendrick was punching him in the face was Rick Ross. He's been trolling, playing a whole bunch of he playing his diss song, playing Not Like Us, like that. Wherever he goes, it seems like he's outside at an event. He's like, let me antagonize Drake somewhere and put it on my camera and post it so everybody can see. This time he was over in Vancouver. It looks like after his set was done, he told the DJ to play Not Like Us. And then for some reason he was walking through the crowd while this was going on. It was kind of peculiar to me because why would you do it? You're antagonizing Canada, you're antagonizing Drake, calling him white boy, doing all this shit. The last place you probably should go to Vancouver amongst the white boys where they're going to try to get at you for dissing the country, dissing their Jay-Z, which is Drake. So yeah, you see him face to face in the crowd arguing. You don't know exactly what is being said, but you see one of the dudes reach from across the crowd and, still on Rick Ross. Get one of those jump, reach out punches and hits him in the face, which starts a big scrum. In this instance, I would expect a big star like Rick Ross to have security guards that can get down, be in shape, or even have the strap on deck just in case. Canada, I don't know how security is able to move around. Maybe they're not able to have guns. Maybe they're not able to get it through, get it through customs to be able to have a gun in this situation. But the security guard got beat down by the mob that was trying to get at Rick Ross. We see images of the security guard getting stomped and kicked by at least 4 other dudes. Then you see Rick Ross's DJ try to get in and swing at a couple of dudes. He gets popped in the face and gets pushed out the scrum. Then you see another dude in Rick Ross's entourage that looks like he was in the fight in some type of way, but then he was knocked out asleep in the back. How that happened, we don't really get it on camera. For some reason, these fight videos, we don't get the best interpretation of what's happening, but we did see that big security guard taking a knee from getting lumped up. He's a big boy. He was like about 6'5", 6'6", 300 some pounds. But when you get 4 or 5 people jumping and Power Ranger kicking you, it's gonna be tough. It seemed like his security team wasn't ready for the funk. It seemed like he didn't have security that was experienced with confrontation. Maybe he brought out his Canada security guards thinking that these Canada people are peaceful and he brought out his B team security that wasn't skilled in hand-to-hand combat. I don't know what happened, but this wasn't a good look for Rick Ross. But I mean, it just seems as though if you beefed before with 50 Cent, you have to have tough skin. You have to know how to bounce back from, embarrassing situations. We see that he escaped through the back gate, leaving his security and DJs and stuff to handle the fight, which in fight culture and shit like this, when you're supposed to be a hard gangster type dude, leaving the fight and leaving your homies there to get beat up is a bitch move. It's looked at as a bitch move in the street code. But at the same time, if you worth millions of dollars and niggas is trying to put their hands on you and harm you, and you got guys that are supposed to be able to handle the situation for you, I don't know if the star is necessarily supposed to be getting in the scrum. He got jewelry on, trying to fight and handle his own. That's what he's paying the security for. But he's gonna go in there, fight. Some people grab him for his jewelry. He lose a $200,000 chain, and he lose money on security and hospital bills, and he hit somebody and they sue him because he's the rich. Like, bro, personally, I don't know if it's because he got punched in the face where people feel like he had to be in the fight and whoop somebody's ass to get his get back. But if I'm a star making millions of dollars in a foreign country, somebody hits me, I expect my security guards to handle business and expect them to have done what I'm paying them to do in the moment. And I'm getting out of there. If I can get out of there safely, I'm not going to sit there, oh, shoot, let me go make sure my security is not getting beat up and put myself into the danger that my security is supposed to be keeping me away from. That's kind of counterproductive. But at the same time, I did hear, on multiple podcasts, multiple platforms, it's like, okay, a lot of the times the star's job for the security is to keep them out of trouble as well. Like they're protecting you, but at the same time, you shouldn't purposely put yourself in positions to be harmed, to again essentially put those security guards in danger as well. You know, they signed the contract, they signed on to protect you if anything was to happen, unexpectedly, and you have to, fight for the star's life, fight for the person's life. But if the star is out here putting us in these precarious situations, it's like, are you liable as well for, hold on a second. Are you liable as well for doing what you're doing, putting the security lights in danger, putting your DJ's life in danger, just for a beef that you're not even the part of, really? Like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick did what he did to Drake as far as the beef goes. Like, we know that you were a antagonist in this too. We heard the diss track. You know what I'm saying? Everybody let it fly. You know what I'm saying? He got at him. Blah, 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 blah. Even though the beef wasn't with you and nobody really cared about it, it's like, okay, we let it slide. Then the diss and stuff. He's funny. He's funny online for sure. We love all the dissing and you love all the they call you fat, they call you this and that. They say something about your baby mom. You come online, show your money, ha 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 type shit. The game try to get at you. You show the Louis Vuitton cereal bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's all funny. You know what I'm saying? But when people start attacking you, people start. I mean, I guess now you can't stop because then if somebody attacks you, they get away with it. You feel like Drake won, and he's making you back down because something he did to you. Egos are crazy things, but in the long run, just bow out gracefully. I think Drake bowed out gracefully. I think Kendrick is still taking his victory lap. But I don't think you need to try to go out there and rub it in his face by going to his country and just showing everybody that Kendrick won by inserting yourself. Yeah, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. But again, what I'm saying, I'm glad that he's okay and was able to get out of it. I'm hoping that the security guards that were with him, the people that did get knocked out or hurt, were able to get out of there safely. I still don't understand grown men going to a concert, spending a whole bunch of money on ticket and going and fighting with the possibility of going to jail, getting kicked out of the concert you pay $100 for. I can just chill, bro. Ignore people trying to get clout for fucking with Rick Ross. Like, Drake ain't gonna send you no money unless he sent y'all out there to do that. That's different things. Maybe he do send y'all a care package for being, down and fucking with you, and who knows? But I don't know. People doing some weird shit for clout. Either it's Rick Ross or the people just trying to beat up people that you don't know if the security got guns or not. Like, people are crazy. But Rick Ross, man, I feel like you just need to make some more music or do whatever you're doing. Wingstop, you make a bunch of money doing a lot of shit for the community, for Florida, for the area you live in. I think it might be Atlanta in that big ass house. But man, that beef shit. Let's just get back to making music and having fun again. You know what I'm saying? If Drake and them ain't doing shit to each other, you definitely don't need to be out there getting beat up on. We don't want nobody to come out there and try to do nothing to Drake just because they felt like Drake got you lined up, set up in Vancouver. Miami's a crazy place, and them Haitians that be back in Rick Ross may have no forgiveness in their heart for anybody from the OVO crew. So I'm just hoping that it just stays music, man. It's over. It's already over. So let's just move on to the next thing. If you know what I'm saying, that's what we need to do for real, for real. But then again, that Not Like Us video, go watch that shit. Go check it out. A lot of a lot of responses were made. Everybody likes to get super cryptic with the Kendrick Lamar videos, but you had Whitney, his wife, that that everybody was claiming that Kendrick wasn't in their kids' lives. They weren't together. They weren't a family. He beats up on her. She don't even want to be around him. Kind of answered that question. Had her walking in the living room while the kids was playing. Let's go check it out. And that song in the beginning, that snippet, whatever song that was about to be, they need to release that tomorrow, on Friday or whatever. I'm ready for the Kendrick album if it's gonna be sounding like that, boy. I think that might have been probably the most chopped up clip and intro song to a video that there ever has been, because that shit was crazy. But yeah, the video is nuts. LA was in that for real. Every LA Compton artist, just LA culture, just dancing. And he was still dissing throughout. This hidden, it's art, it's art, man. It's just really artistic, man. Just check it out. I think it got 15 million views in one day. Dropped it on 4th of July, right after Drake posted online on Canada Day. You know, not like us dropped on 4th of July, America's Independence Day. It's just a whole bunch of intricate beef stuff going on between them two, and it's crazy. It's pretty nuts, and it's pretty cool. But not like us now out on YouTube now. Go check it out. Cinema Corner. Let's get into the Cinema Corner before I get y'all out of here. Let me just talk about Dark Matter right now. Ariel, aka, clip this up, please. Dark Matter on Apple TV Plus. And this could be partially my fault. I did promote it to y'all. It was a really great show. The idea of it, the idea of this box being able to take you, spoiler alert, to take you to any version of yourself that you can think of, any world that you can think of, anything that you think you could have done, any job you thought about having. There's a world out there that you had that job and you lived your life, and we're going to see, you know, and there's a place where they can see how your life turned out. It just opens your mind to a whole bunch of different possibilities and the way you think about your life right now. Could there be another you that actually did play for the NFL? Is there a version of you that never met the significant other that you're with right now, that you're married to right now, that which took you on a whole different path in life? That's crazy. That's what this show was to start off, man. It opened up a whole bunch of possibilities. If you like Tenet, if you like Interstellar, if you like anything of that nature, bro, a Total Recall type shit, like anything science fiction of that nature, I was clamoring for you to watch Dark Matter. Show is crazy. This guy, scientist, chemical scientist, created this box that were able, again, to take you to any planet, any world that you could possibly think of, that any life that you could have lived. And he goes through these different worlds, kind of looking for the version of himself that was actually able to stay with his wife and this love and stay with his kid, and they can be a family. But there's infinite versions of yourself and of your life that you could have lived out. Some with the wife, some without the wife, some with the kid, some without the kid. You know what I mean? So the version of his life he started off in, the main character was cool. He was happy with his life, and he just living life. And then one night he went to the bar and was kidnapped and knocked out and just woken up in another world that he didn't know about, essentially. But the guy that knocked him out, he finds out it was him. He's like, what the fuck? Why do you look like me? How did I knock myself out, and where am I at? So ultimately, another version of him from another world that wasn't happy with his life came and tried to take his world because he was happy with his wife and kid. But he didn't know this at the beginning of the season. He didn't know any of this. He just thought somebody kidnapped him, and he didn't know why. When he wakes up in this world, he meets this girl that actually is his wife in this world, but not in another world. You know what I mean? So eventually they get to know each other. The lady starts to realize, like, this isn't my husband. He doesn't even know who I am. He's wondering what world we're in, what happened to me. I got kidnapped type shit. Then ultimately they escape and go into the box that they know nothing about at the moment to try to find where his old world was. But at the same time, him from that world went back to his world and was trying to live out his life with his wife, with his son, because in his world, he wasn't able to do so. Crazy, right? Crazy mindfuck type things, but it's like the box that he created, that this one from the world that came and kidnapped the one himself from that world, is the only one that knows how to really run the box for real. This Jason is completely oblivious to how the box works. So as he meets his wife in this other world that's completely different from his wife in the original world, tells him that he created this box that can take you interdimensionally and go to any world you can think of, but it's all based off of how you think, how your mind state is. So there's infinite worlds. So he's like, fuck, there's a possibility that I'd never get back to my world because there's so many worlds out there, and only this Jason knows how to control the box to get back to where I want to be. So majority of the season, we have this Jason number one, I want to call him, trying to figure out how to get back to his world, while Jason number two is living Jason number one's life as Jason number one. All right. So, so throughout this seasons, we learn more and more about this box and what this box is doing for Jason number two. He's been going through from world to world trying to find the perfect world for him. And as he's gone to these other worlds, he's experienced so much. In order to jump these worlds, he needs these they're called amu little ammules that he injects into his skin to let you travel these dimensions. So trying to do this for Jason 2 has been an attempt, has been crazy. He's in Jason 1's world, trying to propose to people how to make the box, how to do all the stuff Jason 2 has done in his world, trying to bring that to World 1. But everybody's suspicious. Is like, wait, how Jason 1 is not like this, like you know this, and you're not acting like Jason 1 used to act. It's kind of acting off. So it's kind of weird trying to get Jason 2 to ingratiate into Jason 1's world, and it's just starting to get tricky. And then on the other side, you have Jason 2 trying to get back to Jason 1 trying to get back to his actual world where Jason 2 left him way out and everything. So it's just kind of tricky. It's kind of hard to talk about now, but the ending was terrible to me, man. We spent this whole time watching the series, Jason's coming out of nowhere, Jason coming from this world, that world, just trying to get his wife. So you see them killing each other, and just so there's not multiple Jasons running around on the planet, you got to have all these Jasons competing to see who can be with the guy's wife, who can be with the kid. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. It's kind of hard to talk about because again, it's like Interstellar. It's kind of like Tenet to make you think. And at the end, ultimately, I'm just talking about the last scene because the last scene is what fucks me up. It's like this whole time we've seen all these different Jasons trying to get Jason 1 to keep him from his world because all these other Jasons wanted to live Jason 1's life. You know what I mean? Like some of them, their wives died. Some of them, the kids have died. Some of them, the world is ended, so they couldn't be together. So they all try to leave their world to get to Jason 1's world and have his wife and kids. So at the end, their world is kind of fucked up. They're like, all right, all these Jason 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s have come to my world and tried to fuck it up. Basically, the world is not ready to know that there's hella Jason. So I'm gonna go into this box and just find ourselves a world that we can live in and be happy, and none of these other Jasons will know where we're going. So they go to the box, but once they get there, they think they arrive safely. There's like 17 million Jasons standing in front of the box, stopping Jason 1 from getting to the box with his family. And they're like, nah, we're not going to let you take this family. Why do you deserve to be with the wife and kids? Why is he the only one? Because out of all these millions and millions of worlds, there's only one world where Jason gets to stay with the wife and kid, and that's in Jason 1's world. So all the other Jasons are jealous and like, nah, you're not going in the box. We're not going to let you through. But then out of nowhere, one of the Jasons is like, no, we gotta let him through because she chose him and that's where she's happy. So if she chooses him, we have to let her go. I'm like, huh? So after this whole thing, all these Jason 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s are coming to Jason 1's world, trying to kill Jason 1 just so they can be with the wife and take his place. But after all that, they're actually gonna leave and just let them walk away. And then there's hella characters that they build up throughout the series. I know there's gonna be a number 2. I know there's gonna be a season 2, just because of how they left it. Lathan, the best friend, the lady that was the wife in world number 2, but now she's not the wife. She's just stuck in one of the worlds in the box. It's like a whole bunch of people still in the box, just exploring it that we never went back to, which was kind of confusing for me. And then just the fact that Jason number 1, first of all, was it Jason number 1? Because there are so many Jasons coming in. Maybe Jason number 1 kind of told the password to another one of the Jasons, and that Jason killed him, and he knew the password. So it kind of left it kind of like it's kind of up to your imagination. At the same time, they are coming out with a season 2, so I'm sure we're gonna have to wait like a year and a half just pondering what really happened. So for me, it kind of ended weak. There was not really any kind of, well, we did see some of the Jasons try to kill the family or kill Jason number 1 on the way to the box to try to escape from everybody. But at the end, it's like Jason 1 just kind of made it through smooth. After he escaped from the kidnapping, he found his world. It's like, okay, now he just gets to walk away with the family and the show's over. And just how fast that the family was able to cope with there being hella Jasons and just thinking that the Jason they were next to was the Jason that they wanted to be with. What if he ends up being a weirdo in this next world? And what if there's a Jason in the next world they go to? It's just kind of crazy. But I just wanted to let y'all know, hey, check it out and let me know how y'all like the finale, because I was kind of fucked up a little bit about how easily it was over and how quick it was over. It was nuts. Acolyte so far. Disney Plus, you guys know how I feel about Acolyte and Star Wars. You feel me? This season of, well, this show, The Acolyte, it's been predictable a lot of the way. It's been kind of like inconsistent a lot of the way. Um, I'm missing a lot. I don't really know exactly what's going on exactly, because the whole story between Osha and Maya is like, you know, they were from a coven of witches, and it just seems like Maya tried to kill Osha. She set a fire, and then everybody died. Of course, they're leaving out parts, but they shouldn't be leaving out bits of the story till episode 6 and 7, because we're kind of far in the season already, and all that we know is that I forgot what the dark side Sith guy, he is upset. I don't know if he's upset. He's teaching Osha and Maya to hate the Jedi because of stuff that they did, but we don't know what they did yet. Again, all we saw that there was a fire and everybody was dead once Osha made it out of the jail cell once Maya tried to burn her alive. So again, maybe the Jedi cut him down while the fire was going before they saw Osha. I don't know what happened to make it seem like, okay, one's gonna drink the poison. The Wookiee looked like he let himself get stabbed. Um, yeah, it's weird. A lot of the Jedi died too. In one of the fight scenes. I know last episode I think I talked about after the Master Dude came and just used the Force to push all the Jedi back. The episode ending. Well, this next episode started and picked up right from that fight. All the Jedi were facing the Darth Sith Lord, but he was too raw. Pretty much killed all of them. Even killed little X-23, the little the Padawan. Um, yeah. Yeah, I keep forgetting the general, the main Jedi, the Jedi leader's name. Um, but anyways, yeah, after his Padawan got killed, him and the Jedi Master went one-on-one. They hit the ones real quick. And then of course, the Jedi dude, I think they called out those flying bug things and carried the Jedi dude away. Not the Jedi dude, the Sith Lord guy. I knew it was the poison dude the whole time. Actually, I watched a little heavy spoilers video. Shout out them. They said it was either going to be one of the witch moms or the poison guy. But yeah, it was kind of obvious. Last episode, when they landed on that planet, and there was 3 capsules of clothes. There was one for Maya, and there was one for him, and there was a third one probably that held his outfit in there. So that was kind of obvious. I didn't really like the ending of it. I mean, the action leading up to the end of the episode, I was cool. I was in there for the action because you started. It was a short episode last time. You started right from the action you left off on that episode. But when it got to the part where um Maya shot the Jedi leader dude, or no, what happened? I think Osha shot Maya with the concussion gun. She passed out. She woke up in like 5 seconds for some reason. She was able to shoot the Jedi Master dude with the gun, knocked him out with it, and then was able to knock out Osha long enough to take her suit. And the concussion gun knocked out the Jedi dude. I wish I knew his name. I keep saying that, but the Asian Jedi dude long enough for Maya to change the outfits with Osha and escape as a Jedi, and for him not to be able to read her mind, which was the reason the Sith Lord guy had a helmet. So that Jedi dude couldn't read her mind. But at the same time, he couldn't read Maya's mind to figure out that that wasn't Osha for real. That shit was stupid to me. And they didn't even they showed Osha fall off the little rock, but they didn't show her hit her head or nothing. Like, come on, if she's a Jedi, how is that little hit and falling off that thing will knock her out long enough for her sister to strip her naked and take her spot? Like, bro, the show is just turning out to be the stupidest shit ever, but I'm still gonna give it a chance. And you know what I'm saying? I'm supporting Black actors. The storyline is not the worst. I definitely am very interested in seeing more Jedi action that's not just directly tied to the Luke Skywalker saga. So it's cool. It's just not believable. She cuts off her dreads to look exactly like Osha's dreads with a lightsaber. Like, come on. Like, You saying all black people look alike? And I'm just playing. They are twins, and it's the same actor essentially, but it's just dumb. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They're just making this step up as they go. Yeah, I know it's probably gonna end up being that the Sith guy was actually a good guy and the Jedi did something super sinister when they saved Osha and Maya, but again, who knows? But I'm still gonna be with y'all Tuesday afternoons at 6. I don't understand why it comes on like that, but Tuesday afternoon, 6 o'clock, Disney Plus. Check it out. It's been okay so far. I would give it like a 4 out of 10 if I was judging now, but maybe it ends strong and I can give it a little bit better of a review, but we'll see. And The Boys so far, man, The Boys so far has been epic, man. I am at the edge of my seat every week. I don't know exactly what's going down. So many different storylines, so many different people, and ultimate goal, man. It's just I don't know what it is yet. We saw the poison that they were trying to make in Gen V to kill Homelander, but it seems like um, that virus has taken a while to develop, and the last living source of it got taken out in that episode with the flying animals when they used the serum on the dead body to get the flying animals to blow up and die. But it's been cool this season, but I still am looking forward to Homelander being defeated. I guess if he gets defeated, we're not going to really have a show left. But they do a really good job of showing Homelander as the asshole bad guy, but at the same time, they're able to have the asshole bad guy just like dismiss and to kind of belittle the racists and the idiots on the show as well, the other heroes that are assholes, like Firecracker. He don't give a fuck about her, all the bullshit that she's doing to try to defame Starlight and shit like that, all the bullshit right views that she has and the dumb shit that she's saying. Like, Homelander's like, I don't give a fuck about you. Shut your dumb ass up type shit. But at the same time, Homelander is an asshole and he doesn't get rid of these dumbass superheroes that are super racist. He don't really care. He's just so self-serving that nothing matters more than him looking like a sufficient leader. And he's just in the need of motherly support so much. That's all he really cares about. As long as people like him, he has somebody that cares for him. That's all he cares about. But at the same time, you have Victoria Newman who was actually a soup trying to run for president, and she's trying to win the presidency so she could secretly kill Homelander. Yeah, her juxtaposition is kind of weird as well. It's just like she is trying to kill Homelander and working with people that want to kill superheroes, but at the same time, she is a superhero. So she's slowly becoming what she hates a little more and more, especially towards the end of the episode this time when she kind of goes to these right wing kind of like supporters that she's using to help her running as president, just telling them everything they want to hear, though it may be some bullshit, just so she can get elected. And she's becoming more and more like Homelander, even though she doesn't like Homelander, doesn't like anything that he stands for. She became a superhero, was able to make her and made her daughter a superhero, all in efforts of trying to take down Homelander, which I thought was interesting. Billy the Butcher's arc is kind of interesting as well, just for the fact that at the end of this episode, we realized that none of the people that he's talking to, well, as far as his wife, of course, the one that died, but the agent, fucking Negan, that fool, even though that's the character's name in the show, has been talking to him as a CIA agent, trying to get him to, work by himself and go on his own mission to try to kill Homelander and get the poison that's supposed to kill Soups. We think he's working with a CIA agent this whole time, but come to show at the end of the episode that the guy was never really there to begin with. So all the times we saw Negan out here talking to him and he was sitting there looking at him, talking to him, he's not really there. So Billy the Butcher is out here going crazy. We didn't see what happened when he killed I forgot what his name was. His name Isaiah or something, the stretchy guy. When he exploded, we didn't really see what happened. So it looks like that little worm inside of him is manifesting into that CIA guy and making him see things and is fucking up his brain. But at the same time, it seems like it's a venom type creature that comes out when he needs it, but is living inside of him, actually killing him, but at the same time protects him when he needs to be protected. So I think that may be a big Easter egg coming down the line. Like if he fights Homelander and the Homelander's about to kill him, that shit might come out and just kind of like fuck with him for real. But These episodes is fucking weird, yo. Like just Tech Knight and his whole thing. We saw him last season likes to put his thing in holes, no matter what the hole is. You know, he's a weird ass dude. He's the boys version of Batman, like a super racist version of Batman. That's hella weird. He has hella money. He's an actor, but he likes to fuck all holes. No matter what the hole is, he gets turned on by. It's a weird, some weird shit. Um, but yeah, and we saw Starlight come back to the boys. We were seeing Kimiko and Frenchie go through it. Frenchie kind of admitting to the dude that he killed his family and him going to rehab to kind of deal with that. Kimiko is still trying to kind of find herself as well, coming from that child slavering and finding herself as a person. I think she was fighting with that girl. I think that group helped capture, I think because of her type shit. So she's feeling guilty about that and is trying to put her best foot forward and try to become a good guy as best as she can. We got Mother's Milk, still trying to, help the boys and work to help take down Homelander, but this guy is dealing with anxiety attacks. He is not going through it well, he is going through it. He's not just having a good stint health wise. He thinks he has a heart attack towards the end of the episode, but he actually has a panic attack, which brings in A-Train, who out throughout the season, who has been trying to restore his character arc. You know what I mean? He's tired of Homelander, tired of Vought. They're just super racist. How they keep trying to just keep trying to pit racial things on him and Sister Sage and Black Noir. They're trying to put him in a movie called Black Addict. Just they're super racist over there, and like a lot of companies are. So they're kind of highlighting that, which kind of makes me believe that Sister Sage is also kind of working behind the scenes to take down Vought and Homelander as well, because it just seems like a lot of the plans that she's been giving has been getting a lot of the Seven and people in Vought fucked up. Firecracker, Firecracker's homie, the stretch guy, got killed. Ashley got fired. So it seems like a lot of the stuff she's doing, she's infiltrating the Seven and Vought, getting Homelander to make plans in her under her word and just get Homelander to do stupid shit because he doesn't really know much. He's kind of stupid as well. He just wants to be accepted and have power over everybody. So however he can gain that acceptance, if it's looking good for him, he'll just follow whatever Sage says. And I think that's why Sage has that arc of, okay, I want you to lobotomize me type shit, or she likes getting shot in the head is something that she may have wanted to happen because she did say her brain grows at a rapid rate. And sometimes I guess she may feel like she is doing shit she doesn't really want to do. Therefore, she kind of like she kind of like wants to forget and just to be numbed out sometimes, just so she can just feel like a normal person at times. But I can only imagine my brain just regrowing and just have to learn something at all times. Just be that super, it's like super Adderall. It's like your brain is just absorbing information and want to learn something at all times. Her house is always filled up with books and shit like that. It's interesting. The new Black Noir is interesting as well, man. I think a lot of the Black characters may team up at some point in this show and just kind of fight against Vought and Homelander. I personally think A-Train is going to die because he's done too much good stuff so far in this season for him not to get caught at the end and just be killed by Homelander. Sage, I think, again, at the end, ultimately will prove that she was working with the boys to try to take down Homelander and Vought, but she thinks she'll be like permanently lobotomized and her power would get neutralized some way. Black Noir, he says he can fly. He wants to talk or be able to show that he is something that the Vought can use, and he has powers, and he wants to show the world as well. But I'm interested in if we'll be able to see what Black Noir can do. He said he can fly. The other Black Noir can't fly. Again, in the comics, Black Noir is supposed to be a clone of Homelander, just in case Homelander got out of hand. Black Noir can be able to fight him on the same level and shut him down. But we all know he died in the last season, so this one is a replacement. He talks and shit. He has powers, but he's being neutralized again by Vought and the Seven to not really speak and just be a sidekick. Again, adding on to the racism of Vought and the Seven. Even fucking the Deep is secretly racist, talking about how he went on a mission for Vought to try to help with some advancement in some kind of water pipeline. And then this native village was like, nah, we can't do that because it goes right through our sacred land or some shit. And he had to kill them in order to get the building and the higher ups to be able to build and have the land to build that shit. So they're all kind of corrupt and dirty. So it's just all going to be interesting. It's just like throughout all 3 seasons, or 4 seasons, we don't ever see the comeuppance of Homelander. We do have a bunch of characters on the show that are almost as bad as Homelander that do end up getting fucked up or killed, but ultimately Homelander does end up coming out at the end. We see that he is, I forgot this. Was it Steven? Whatever the son's name is, we see him kind of trying to put those negative thoughts in his head to make him become a Homelander Junior. When it seems like ultimately he's probably going to become the one that kills Homelander. He's starting to realize the Homelander is an asshole, especially with the shit that he's making him do, especially at what is it called? The production stage when that producer was a creep. Kind of like the the Nickelodeon shit they're playing on that, it seemed like, but he was abusing one of the little assistants that the son kind of had a thing for, and she said, yeah, he was being abusive. The shit he's doing makes me uncomfortable. He's like, use your power. And Homelander was like, use your power to get him to stop. Like, you're a superhero. Punish him. And he's like, yeah, I want you to get on your knees and say sorry. You can kind of see how Homelander's trying to get in his head and let him know that, like, you don't have to follow the rules of the normal people. Like, you're a superhero, you're a god, you can do whatever you want type shit. But hopefully, you know what I'm saying, Billy Butcher is able to reach him before he actually gets to that point. We know Billy Butcher is probably going to die too, but we'll see, man. There's a lot of characters that we feel like may die. We see Huey dealing with the death of his dad and him trying to secretly go under cover as Web Weaver, but ends up getting a whole bunch of sexual stuff done to him by Tech Knight and Ashley, and then he finally breaks down in the end. We thought he was cool with his dad passing and thought he was like strong enough to go out there and do a secret undercover mission, but after all that weird shit happened to him, he had to sit on a chocolate cake and fart and shit. Not shit, but just fart. That he just broke down and he couldn't deal with it. And that's understandable. He went through a hell of shit. The loss of his girl, the loss of his dad, his mom coming back into his life, him almost dying multiple times, him taking Temp V and almost dying. It's just, he's been through a lot. And he's like pretty much the only really normal, down-to-earth person that's just in it. But yeah, it's an interesting show, man. If you guys haven't seen it up till now, go check it out. Amazon Prime, seasons 1 through 4. I think we're at episode 6, if I'm not mistaken. But catch up now because we will be talking about the finale when it does come out. But it's been great up till now. There's a lot of shock and awe. Do not be surprised by that if you know anything about The Boys. It does have some raunchy ass scenes that have a lot of shock value to them, but it's a great show, man. Season 5 has already been renewed. Gen V season 2 has already been renewed, so The Boys ain't gonna be stopping no time soon. All these comic book adaptations have a whole bunch of books to draw from, so you know what I mean. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, and I'm glad that this and Invincible has brought a new light to comic book adaptations. Brings another like gory, more, it's a flip the script version of it, because everything that we did see kind of before that had been very cookie cutter and the same. But you know what I'm saying, it also is bringing light to different kind of comic books that we may not have seen, and books that we may not have read before. So damn. So that's always cool. So check it out if you haven't checked it out. If you've been kind of standoffish on it, I understand, but check it out, give it a chance, and get past some of the beginning scenes. First couple of episodes, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of scenes in there that can be very, very, very like, ooh, what the fuck? But I think you're good. If you can watch Euphoria, you can watch this, I would say. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll put them on the same level. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm sorry, it might be a longer episode than you guys expected. We got some sports on deck. We had some cinema corner on deck, and we had some pop culture on deck. Next week, we have plenty more new episode coming in way sooner than later. You feel me? But check out the pod wherever you find your favorite podcast. You know where you find me at Patrick _ SAC _ Lydell on Instagram, Patrick _ Lydell on the Snapchat. You know where to find the pod wherever you find your favorite podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, which is also Spotify already, and YouTube, of course. Type in the Best of Bias Podcast, and all those places you'll find Growly just right there, just like this right here. Just click on play and you'll hear this voice, you know what I'm saying? And plenty episodes, plenty content to come. Hope you guys are enjoying the promos that I'm getting up. I'm sorry I haven't been putting promos up lately, but There's more to come, trust me. Tell your friends about the pod, friends, family. Hit that like, subscribe button, hit that bell too, so you'll never miss an episode when you drop on YouTube. We'll get this video out in a couple of days. Hopefully, AKA can be a little quicker on this one because we got another video coming out this weekend. So again, sorry about last week. You know what I'm saying? I had to get my travel on, but you already know what it is. It's the Best of Bias podcast. That's the pod up there too. Look, go watch episode 212, 211. Still both on YouTube right now. Me and Damo 211, me on 212. You know what I'm saying? Plenty more to come. It's the Best of Bias podcast. We got Comic-Cons coming soon. A lot more trips and stuff coming soon. I'm going to start documenting for y'all. I promise you. I promise you. The merch is still available. Hit me up. Instagram, YouTube, wherever you can find me, you can find the merch as well. So it's your boy. Thank you, AKA, for always doing the videos for us all. Thank you, all listeners. If you're new to the podcast, thank you for clicking play on this podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you clicked on play with us today. Hey, whatever day you listen to this podcast, have a great rest of your day. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Lydell Dinero, where that theme song at? Right here. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah.